Oh, hey, how you doing? Professor Hiccup here. I was just thinking, everybody has a bucket list. Um, a bucket list is basically something that you want to do before you die or before you kick the bucket. So that's what we're talking about. Now, one of the things that a lot of people have on their bucket list, well, I don't, but a lot of people do, is to climb Mount Everest. Now, when I was younger, I did climb a mountain. I climbed a mountain called Mount Marcy, which is the tallest mountain in New York State, as well as the tallest peak in the Adirondack chain of mountains. I think there's 46 mountains total. So I did climb that. Now, let me tell you, that trip took us a day and a half to get up that mountain and back down. Now we were going slow. We took our time. We took photos. We enjoyed the scenery. There's people who could run up and down that mountain in about 12 to 14 hours. They come back down. They go out, have pizza. Life was good. But us, it took us about a day and a half. Now Mount Marcy is 5,000 square feet high. Um, Mount Everest is like 29,000 square feet, or not square feet, but 29,000 feet high. So it's 5 times bigger than Mount Marcy, which brings up a whole slew of new problems. Anyhow, I'm reading this book here, and this book has what they say 7 reasons not to climb Mount Everest. So, if by chance I had a little bit of an inkling of maybe climbing Mount Everest, this book changed my mind. Let me tell you the 7 reasons why they say why you should not climb Mount Everest. Number one, it's harder than you think. All right. They say here most people don't realize how recently it was that Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay made the first successful climb to the top. That was in 1953. All right. So the first Westerners, we should say, to actually climb Mount Everest and make it to the top was 1953. All right. It's 2001 now. All right. So we're talking 60 plus years. That's it. And this mountain's been around since the dawn of time. All right, they say that today, even with expert assistance and canisters of oxygen, a lot of people don't make it up the mountain, and a lot of people don't make it back down again. Okay, this book is really encouraging me to want to go. All right, reason number two why. Uh, Number two reason not to climb Mount Everest. Number two, it's crazy expensive. All right. There's a whole bunch of things you have to pay before you even climb the mountain. All right. Number one, you have to buy equipment. Your equipment is, your pack and your pickaxes and all the equipment you need, the phones or whatever. They say your climbing gear alone is $8,000 to $10,000. Okay. Then they say you need to bring bottled oxygen because once you hit the 26,000 square feet point, there's no oxygen per se. So you got to bring your own oxygen with you. They say your bottled oxygen is about $3,000. All right. Then they say just to climb the mountain, you need to get a permit. And that permit, because there's always government red tape somewhere, that permit alone is $11,000. Okay. Just to walk up the mountain costs you $11,000. And that says here, that's regardless of your group size. So if you want to go by yourself or go with 15 people, it's $11,000. So if you're going to do it, bring some friends, split that bill. All right. Then they say transportation of your gear to your base camp. Your base camp is the point of where you start actual the climb, where you get ready, you get everything set, you get your gear together, your guides together, and that's your starting point where everyone meets. Just to get all your equipment there costs $2,000. All right. Then they say for your Sherpa support, guide, food, etc. Okay, Sherpa is the people who get you to the top and back, who know the paths, and they know the landmarks and whatnot to get you there. Just to get pay them, that's $40,000 to $80,000. All right, plus tips. All right, the Sherpa's main source of income is tips, and that's for keeping you alive. So yeah, they want to keep you alive. They're gonna do everything they can because that's how they make their money. Right. And the last thing they have listed here is a round trip to Nepal, which is where the mountain is. Depending on your location, of course, that trip ticket could be anywhere from 800 to $1,500 just to get there. All right. So overall, the total cost just to climb the mountain with all your everything paid for could be anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 to climb a mountain. Okay. I don't have that type of money just to walk up a mountain. All right. They say, uh, as far as that, they say that, of course, there's the mountaineers, people who climb mountains for a living or have been doing it most of their life. They're experienced, they have know how. And this is a dream of theirs to finally climb the tallest mountain. And they save all their lives and they finally get there and they finally climb that mountain. Other people are pretty much people who just have something to prove and they have money, so they think they can just pay their way to the top. Doesn't always work that way. Just because you have money doesn't mean you can make it to the top of Everest. It takes time and dedication, a lot more than just money, and it takes know-how. You really gotta know what you're doing. Right? The number three reason they have for not wanting to climb Mount Everest is that it's ridiculously cold up there. They say in July, the warmest month of the year, the average temperature at the top of the mountain is -2 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. It says it never gets anywhere close to above freezing. There's also wind chill. While winter features hurricane speed winds at 70 miles plus, um, summer winds offer little relief, being that they're only 20 miles per hour. Temperatures like that, I don't need to be walking through that. All right, they say number four reason for not wanting to climb Mount Everest, and they're making a good case. Number four is you may lose some body parts. There's body parts you may wish to keep. And if you climb Mount Everest, you might not have them anymore. Okay. For instance, they say here the culprit for having this problem is frostbite. If you get frostbite, you can't really fix it too well too quick when you're up on a mountain. They say one lucky survivor in 1996 had to have his right arm amputated below the elbow. Besides that, he also lost parts of both feet, his nose, and all five fingers of his remaining hand. In Everest's sub zero temperatures, frostbite is really easy to get and really difficult to fix. Yeah, I don't want to be losing anything, even a pinky. I don't need to lose that. All right. Number five. The number five reason for not wanting to climb Mount Everest, they say there's a good chance you'll die up there. Okay, if that's not a incentive to not want to climb it, I don't know what else there is. They say here, as you get to the 26,000-foot mark, you are entering what they call the death zone. That's where the air is so thin that you'll actually slowly suffocate if you end up having to stay up there beyond your oxygen tank's capacity. A sudden storm that makes it impossible to leave your tent for a day or two means you can possibly die because you're going to run out of oxygen. If you sprain your ankle, get any type of illness, or have altitude sickness, good chance you're going to die up there. They say if you can't move quickly enough on your own, it could be a death sentence as extra liquid collects in your brain and a frothy sputum fills your lungs, drowning you. Rescue by helicopter or emergency personnel is virtually impossible. The death rate has been on the range of about 4 deaths per 100 people. Yeah, that's I'm stopping right there for myself, but there's two more reasons I'll let you know about. Number six, they say the top is littered with tons of trash and a few hundred corpses. Yeah, you heard me right. A few hundred corpses, which means dead bodies. They say if you die on the mountain, there's only a small chance that your body will be recovered. Worse, your mummified body will become yet another unsightly piece of Everest trash. Or, in the case of some longtime corpses, a landmark. For example, Green Boots, a frozen climber from India whose fluorescent green footwear marks the way up a popular path. Or the sitting young woman who, for many years, until her body was finally blown into a crevice by a winter storm, sat leaning against her pack, her eyes open and her long hair blowing in the wind. They say you can actually tell by people's style of clothing on the dead bodies littered around there at what point of time they climbed up there. They say you will see cotton blends from people in the 50s all the way up to the bright synthetic materials from modern day. They say some bodies, excuse me, still have cell phones in their pockets with a photo filled memory cards. There are more than 200 bodies on Mount Everest, and they are prevented from rotting. Hate to be blunt, but it's true because they are preserved by excuse me, altitude and cold keeps it from being eaten by predators or rotting. Many of them are visible to other climbers in the summer season. In fact, the Rainbow Valley, along a popular route just below the summit, gets its nickname from the colorful nylon outerwear on the dozens of bodies scattered across the landscape. Number 7, it's not as big of a deal as you may think. Back in the day, it was a big deal to climb Mount Everest. Mount Everest, people would say in terms, "Oh yeah, that's impossible to do. That's like me climbing Mount Everest because it's just something you just can't do." Um, it used to be a big thing where people would prove their manhood or prove their humanhood or prove how tough they were because they were able to climb Mount Everest, and a lot of them, as you found out, died on there. But nowadays, when you have space age technology, space age clothing, cell phones, you have all sorts of modern devices that help you breathe better and circulate your blood and keep you alive and better foods, all that stuff. It's not so hard anymore. Um, they say at least 5,000 people have made the trip to the top and back. Uh, they say climbers no longer have to blaze a trail either with an ice axe and crampons. They can take one of two popular routes, each permanently preset with ropes and bridges. Ironically, these improvements may end up increasing the number of fatalities, tempting reckless newbies, people who just have money, who just want to do it for the thrill, who have no real experience, by reckless newbies to attempt to climb, and even more expert climbers to attempt dangerous firsts, such as being the oldest climber. Oldest male climber is 80, and the oldest female is 73, or the youngest climber, who happens to be 13 years old, or the first blind climber. And most times to the top, what's it say here? First climber, most times to the top, 21, a tie by two Sherpas, or the first to hang glide down the mountain. So many people could just be dying from it just for the fact that they want to be the first of something and they come up with some great idea and they get up there and hopefully they don't die up there either. But yeah, they're saying it's not as a big deal as it used to be. And even before this, I wasn't too sure. But after reading this, I decided, yeah, there's no way I'm climbing up Mount Everest. But if by chance you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribing. Because unlike climbing Mount Everest, subscribing to my channel is healthy for you. It is good for the environment, and it is kitten approved. So I'm just saying it's a win-win for everyone. And for now, that's a wrap.